In today's video, we're going to be talking about the season's first couple of Arctic blasts that the upcoming pattern looks to bring, as well as some storminess, including the potential for nor'easters along the Gulf and east coasts of the United States. Things will get also pretty hot out west as a positive PNA will set in. We're going to take a look at our current radar imagery first things first, and then we're going to really just break down not only the upcoming temperature pattern, but we're going to take a long-range look at that as well, all the way up till about the beginning of October. There is some storminess currently along the western United States heading from south to north. We'll take a look at that in a minute. We have some thunderstorms up here in the upper Midwest, which seems to be a common theme so far this summer. And then we can see some showery and overall stormy activity up there in the northeastern United States. And then along the south central and southeastern United States, we have this flow of precipitation, and this is what eventually will come up the coast from time to time in the upcoming pattern and potentially create some stronger lows, which could be nor'easters. Now, let's zoom into a couple of regions. We're just going to fly through this. This is mostly lighter activity, and it's moving northward through Nevada into Northern California, Oregon, and even into Washington as well up there. So that's going to bring some showery activity, but nothing major, hopefully. It doesn't appear like it'll be that way. We also have some monsoon activity still ongoing in a couple of spots in here, up here, a little bit down here as well, and even the south regions of Arizona and New Mexico as well. Now, for the Gulf states and East states, again, we can see that this pretty strong areas of thunderstorms and showers are moving about like this across the region. The strongest of these showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the middle here for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, and even into Georgia. So this region seems to be the most impactful. This will eventually move down into Florida and even mostly Georgia there. We did have a water spout there near Tampa Bay, actually, which is pretty interesting. This is the second time I've seen this one of these mornings this summer so far. We do have some heavier showery activity there in northern Texas, southern Oklahoma region. That's also worth noting. And then up here for the upper Midwest, we can see that we have these heavier showers and even thunderstorms taking place for North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So be on the lookout for those. And then last but finally not least, we definitely have some showers and storminess going on up here for New England, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and even into New York there. We have these greens and yellows showing up, which is going to be light to moderate showery activity, definitely lasting multiple hours here for most of these areas as well, as there's a pretty decent low somewhere near you guys up there taking place. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to just hop right into that temperature pattern. And again, we'll even take a long-range look because multiple Arctic blasts are going to be possible. Now, it's important to note that when I say Arctic blasts, I'm not talking about 32 degrees or 20 degrees, obviously. We're still in August, but what I do mean is that this air is going to come from the Arctic regions way even further north than this region and blast down into the eastern United States this time around. That is an Arctic blast. It comes from the Arctic. It blasts into the United States, hence the words Arctic blast. So I hope that is a good explanation. A lot of people think that that means a certain temperature, like, oh, that means it's going to be absolutely frigid. Well, in the wintertime, it would, obviously, because Arctic air coming into the United States in the wintertime would be frigid, but that doesn't mean that the term Arctic blast means frigid air. That's just an effect of Arctic blasts during a certain time of year. Now, as we work our way towards this afternoon, you can see we're already dealing with a cool air mass of sorts in the eastern United States. It's important to note this area out west. That's our positive PNA out here. So that is taking hold and really just dominating the pattern here. What this causes is basically the cold air has to move around this region and it dives down into the east because we have such a huge ridge there out west. That is one of the most key patterns that you'll see in weather, a positive PNA pattern. And this is what allows for things like this to happen, just persistent cold air over the eastern United States. We can even see by Monday of next week, we're still dealing with this cooler air, the south central and the eastern United States. It's going to be actually Sunday the 21st there, so a few days from now. Now, as we head towards Monday here, the 22nd, we can see this area in here is dealing with a lot of cooler air, especially the further east and south you go there. And even by Tuesday, we're still holding on to a lot of this cooler air in these regions. Again, warm for the west primarily of all of North America, even the north central United States in this case. as we approach Wednesday the 24th. It looks like things are really calming down, but we can see that all the hours except for the daytime highs, we are dealing with these cooler air areas. Let's take a look at our North American view, and we see this cooler air mass here over the Arctic regions, and we're going to just watch this really spread into the eastern United States. Again, we have this positive P&A right here, which is really just locking out that cold air. This is surging northwards, so that cold air can only go into the eastern United States, and it really does pour in. Watch this take place. That is an Arctic blast, classic Arctic blast right there, as that cooler air just heads into the eastern United States. Again, let me replay that. It's up in the Arctic Circle and it blasts down into the eastern United States, and that is classic, to say the least. Let's take a look back at our United States view. This is by Thursday the 25th, but by Friday the 26th, we really see this spreading into the eastern United States, starting with the north. Saturday the 27th, there's probably a pretty strong cold front somewhere in there as cooler air is really spreading in. Sunday, the 28th here, look at all that cool air. Really, really cool air here. Tuesday the 30th here, seeing plenty of this cool air. So the beginning of September looks like it could be pretty cool. Here's Wednesday the 31st, cooler air for the south central eastern United States. Not really frigid, I wouldn't say. Thursday the 1st of September is looking a little bit cooler here, though. However, we see the eastern United States really cooling down, and then we see out west still this positive P&A. I don't know why I always write it down. It takes forever, but positive P&A just really hanging out there. I'm just going to keep that there so I don't have to do that again, because it just stays that way. We see Thursday the 1st, a lot of cooler air. It's not completely widespread by this point, but still around. Friday the 2nd here, we're seeing some cooler air along the eastern United States. And still the lows are much, much cooler. We can see Saturday the 3rd here. This is about 7 or 8 p.m. We see definitely some cooler air still around all up and down the East Coast and Gulf Coast. And still a lot of warmer air dominating in these regions. Very, very interesting stuff that gets us all the way to September 3rd here. Now let's take a look at the long-range CFS model here. And this is going to give us a much bigger picture. It's going to be very interesting to see. So here's the 18th through the 25th. We can see some cooler air overall for the eastern and southern United States, just really dominant here. Let's see, it's the 25th. Then August 25th to September 1st is even cooler here in the eastern United States. So we see that really dominating, and we can tell that there's still that positive P&A out west. I'm just going to draw a plus symbol there for that positive P&A. We can see that as we approach the 1st through the 8th, things are still really, really cool here in the eastern United States, if not cooler. And it's also interesting to note, and it's really important to note here, that your average temperature from, for instance, August 18th to September 8th is probably about 5 degrees cooler. And this is all compared to what your normal temperature is on the specific time frame. So for instance, on September 1st through September 8th, these green areas are going to be 10 to 15 degrees below normal. What that means is if your average temperature in the first week of September is, let's say, 80 degrees, you're looking at maybe 70 degrees, maybe 65. A lot of you might have higher highs than that. So let's say your average high is 90. Well, you're looking at 80 or 75. So that's going to be really pleasant regardless. And again, it takes in account your average temperature for the time frame. Now, the 8th through the 15th, things are still cool in the east. So we're really dealing with a persistent pattern here. And again, these greens you see, again, 10 to 15 degrees below normal. The 8th to 15th of September, your average temperatures have definitely dropped into some early fall temperatures for your average. So seeing 10 to 15 degrees below normal might be more like October temperatures in those greens, which is going to be really, really interesting and probably welcomed by quite a few people, an early start to this fall. It's been a long time since we've seen a September that looks this way. Usually in years past, September has been a much warmer month. And really we've seen a late start to fall. It feels like summer just keeps on going. But this year, I mean, already some of August, in my neck of the woods at least, has felt like fall already, which is definitely something that I can't say for years past. Now the 15th through the 22nd, this is when the model seems to lose confidence. We see 90% of the United States in blues, and that's not going to happen. So I do see more warmth out west, so this could mean that we still have this positive P&A out west, but just based on the map right here, it's not looking that way. Now I want to see if it still doesn't have confidence from the 22nd to the 29th. Yeah, so it's kind of just all over the place at this point, so we can kind of just throw it out. Although I'll see here at the end of the model run, it does show some warmth here and still the cool in the eastern United States for September 25th through October 2nd. Gets us all the way into early October here. It would be very interesting if we see this cooler air and really persistent Arctic blasts every now and then lingering all the way into early October. That would be a month and a half of this activity, or maybe about 5 to 6 weeks, 5.5 weeks, something like that. But still, very, very long time to deal with a single type of air mass. It would definitely be something that would be felt. Now, I obviously advertised the fact that there could be some Arctic blasts in the upcoming pattern, but also the storminess and nor'easter pattern that we could get stuck in. So let's take a look here at the GFS, and I want you guys to watch this region in particular, because this is where we're going to see 90% of the activity. Well, maybe not that much, but a lot of it is going to happen in there. So watch as we get towards Monday, August 22nd. Look at that. I mean, just all the green, all of our storminess is in this region for the most part. Even as we approach Thursday, the 25th, we have some activity in there still. Saturday, the 27th here, we still look to have this type of a motion to the pattern. Wednesday, the 31st here, let me take a look. Yeah, we still have that storminess in there. And then all the way at the end of the model run here, around Saturday, August 3rd time frame, we still have most of our activity in here, potentially a storm taking place in this region that could move up northward up the coast. So we're going to be stuck in a nor'easter pattern. This particular model doesn't have any super strong lows developing, but definitely when we see this storminess spreading throughout this region over and over and over again, with the jet stream being the way it's expected to be, this will potentially lead towards some nor'easters in the pattern. It'd be a little bit early, but it's not unheard of to have August, September, or October nor'easters taking place. Definitely something that wouldn't be the most crazy thing that's ever happened. Now, here's our total precipitation through the next, I don't even know how many days. This is the GFS, not the European model, but maybe like 15 days. And we can see that anywhere in the whites, by the way, is expecting no precipitation. Your grays are about 1/10 of an inch or less. Your greens are 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Blues are 1/2 an inch to an inch. Your yellows are 1 inch to 2 inches. And then the reds are 2 to 5 inches. We see that all of the reds happen to be in this corridor. And then our browns are going to be 5 to 10 inches of precipitation, which, lo and behold, all happen to take place in this region where nor'easters could potentially be heading just like that. So it seems like this is where most of the primary storminess is going to take place. And with the jet stream being the way it is, because the jet stream in a positive P&A is going to be way up here. And then with these Arctic blasts could dive down just like this. So these storms could develop along this jet stream. I think that's what this model is seeing. Something like this. Our lows will develop along that and ride along the jet stream, causing a lot of this storminess. So that's the upcoming pattern. We went really, really long range with that. And confidence is pretty medium in this. These models are pretty persistent. And overall this year has been dominated by very, very stationary patterns that just lock in. For instance, in the summer, we had the heat for a very long time. And in the winter, we had pretty persistent air masses of cooler air and warmer air at times. And then now it's looking like this fall could be persistent cooler air, at least for this earlier portion. Late August, which isn't really fall, but September into early October could be dominated by cooler air and storminess. Now, let's take a look at the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook real quick, because there is one thing to show you guys. Now here we are taking a look at our one disturbance we have out there. It's over the Yucatan Peninsula currently, but we do have a 30% chance of formation here, kind of in the western Gulf of Mexico here over the next 5 days, and a 20% chance over the next 2 days. So there is a chance of development here and potential impacts for northern Mexico or potentially Texas. So we're going to be watching this one over the coming days. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.